Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. Uh, wow. I'm gonna get into the Naoya Inoue fight with Jason Moloney, unified champion, unified bantam weight champion Naoya Inoue delivers as advertised. The card wasn't too bad. You know, unfortunately, man, horrible. And by the way, uh, my wife's cousin just texted me about the end of the Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz fight down in San Antonio, and that's what they wanted. So you were a sucker if you bought that if you bought that fight because that's what they wanted, so that you come back for the next fight. But I'd be hard pressed to understand where Mayweather Promotions and Showtime where they go next with Gervonta Davis. You got to get a real opponent in there. You got to do something more than uh, if you're going to push him as what you want to push him as, being a pay-per-view guy. He's going to finish out his career on pay-per-view, so on and so forth. You're gonna have to step it up somehow. So good luck with that. But anyway, I stayed over on ESPN Plus. Oh, and shout out to I saw that Regis Prograis got a third round stoppage. His next move is probably a fight with Adrian Broner. I know he wants to do what he can at 140 to get back into the title picture, but that's not going to happen over there on that side of the street. It's probably trying to make a big fight with Adrian Broner. So anyway, moving on to the ESPN Plus card was where I spent my evening tonight. The Robeson Conseil Sial against Louis Correa. Tough night for that kid, man. Came in there and fought his heart out. He dropped Conceição in the second round. Left hook to the temple of the Olympian, the Olympic gold medalist, the Brazilian. And there was a fourth and a sixth round 1 point deduction for low blows and whatnot. And the kid still ends up losing the fight 94-93 and then 95-92 in a unanimous decision. It's crazy because it seemed like Conceição was going through a moment briefly of like, why am I even fighting? Like, he didn't seem to want to be there. They went to war. It was a hell of a fight. Hard to score, definitely hard to score. But I don't see how Correa lost that fight. I didn't see him. I didn't see him losing that fight, but he maybe could have got out of the pocket a little bit more and boxed a little bit more and not traded so much, so consistently. You have the fight in the bag, kind of back out, box a little bit more. Don't just make it I mean, it was just a slugfest. So I think when you fight a fight like that, when you accept the fight on those terms, you're asking the judges to do too much. You giving them too much to do, and he probably should have backed away a little bit more, took some steps backwards, spaced the action out a little bit more. He probably could have got a decision tonight. So that's tough. That's tough love on him. But I bet you they give him a fight again on that Top Rank brings him back. That's a tough fight against Adam Lopez, who can box pretty good. And now Robeson Conceição. So he's doing his job over there. They probably bring him back and give him another fight. But he won that fight tonight. Shout out to Louis Correa. I thought he handled it like a real boss, too, after he heard the decision. I didn't see his facial expression change. He knew what the deal was, but he didn't deserve that L tonight. Quick shout out to Alex Saucedo. They mentioned that he's retiring from boxing after I don't know if I missed it if they said he had 2 brain bleeds or if that was his second brain bleed during the fight with Anthony Barbosa Jr. a couple of weeks ago. The kid is still pretty young and his career is over. I don't know if you know who Sean Simpkins is out of Chicago, but he caught a situation up in practice a couple of months ago, I guess, and had a situation with the brain bleed, and now his career is over. He was just getting started. So hate to hear that for these cats. I'm going to get into this Michaela Mayer fight really quickly and then get into Naoya Inoue and Jason Moloney. Michaela Mayer can box pretty well. Ewa Brodnicka, she didn't do a whole lot. She wanted to work from the outside all night long. I was expecting to see a bit more of a fight, but you kind of never know what you're getting with some of these Europeans and some of the style that they fight in, the way that they look to mix it up. I thought she was going to do a lot more, and I thought she was going, being that she was the champion. I really thought she was going to test Michaela Mayer a little bit more. She did lose her title on the scales. So maybe, she just didn't have the, maybe she wasn't all that interested in really mixing it up to get her title. I mean, to fight, knowing that she couldn't retain her title. But solid job for Mayer. It was kind of interesting to see Coach K Karama over there as well as Manny Robles in the corner. But she fought a smart fight. I mean, she worked well behind the jab. She worked her way inside. She kept her hands busy once they got inside. She was going to Brodnicka's body. Just being the better fighter. Just being the more talented fighter. Just executing better. Brodnicka came on a little bit at the end in the later rounds, just slightly. Not a whole lot to go over there. So let's get right on over to the championship. I mean, shout out to Toledo, Ohio's own. The real big baby, Jared Anderson. Not a difficult night for him. I like the way I can't even remember the dude's name that he fought, Mexican cat. But one thing that I will say, I don't know how you can expect these guys. I don't know, just because we're seeing these guys more and more because of all of the platforms for boxing right now, just because you're seeing him more, that doesn't mean that you go out and step him up against a Jagba, right now. I mean, that was only his 6th or 7th fight. I think he's won them all by KO. But how did to complain that he's not facing anybody or to knock his competition? I mean, he's 21 years old. He might be 22, but he's young as hell. There's plenty of time for him. I think as boxing fans, we should respect the fact that you're getting to see some of these youngsters, you're getting to see the grooming process for them. But that doesn't mean that you come in and make these unrealistic demands that they face guys who could upset the grooming process. So, yeah, I mean, he knocked this guy out. It was in the first round. The guy didn't do a whole lot in return. But, again, the kid is 21 years old. He looked good. He's looking better every fight. I like it. His punches sounded real heavy. He set everything up nicely. He fought smart. He showed some some nastiness, and you just can't rush. You can't rush the process. Like I said, just enjoy the fact that there's platforms like ESPN Plus on the Zone. They show a lot of these young cats, in their first 10 to 12 fights. You don't have to go on YouTube to find them. Just respect the fact that you get to watch the learning process with some of these cats, and allow these people to do their job. I do think. Well, I won't even go into that. Let me get ready to get into this Naoya Inoue situation, the monster. Hey, man. Jason Moloney did not fight a bad fight tonight. He just fought a bad man. I mean, Naoya Inoue, the funny thing, in hindsight, I'm sitting here like, it would have been nice to see him against the champions at Superfly with an Estrada, maybe even Sorung Vasai. It is a little disappointing that he skipped over all of those guys and went up to bantamweight right away and is campaigning up there. But I mean, he has unified titles, but he looked phenomenal tonight, man. Naoya Inoue almost, I know it's tennis. If you can't follow me, that's fine with this, but Naoya Inoue almost looked like, he is no joke, JD80. He almost looks like Roger Federer. I mean, he's an artist with this stuff. I mean, he was 2 and 3 steps ahead of Moloney. You can see he was standing within range of Moloney, but just an inch and a half, 2 inches of movement to slip his shot, to land his shot, and touch Moloney up. He's disciplined. He's quick as hell. He's putting a lot of pressure on his cat. I mean, Moloney was just outclassed, outgunned, just out everything. And he didn't even fight bad tonight. I mean, he took some good shots. He made it to the 7th round. We saw that he was dropped. He was down in the 6th and the 7th. Yeah, down in the 6th and the 7th. That check left hook, like I said, and he was doing that very early on in the fight. You can see he had that quick bounce step back to get out of range. Dude is just nasty. What's good, Wood? Inoue is the goods. Hey, what's up, Dale from Chi-Town, man? How you doing, bro? Yeah, man, just Naoya is, I don't know what the hell he's going to do. Now, Casemiro, like I was just saying with Inoue reminding me of Roger Federer in the artistry of how he boxes and how sharp and crisp he is. You know, Casemiro just looks like a slugger to me. Just looks like a fighter, a brawler, you know, a tough guy. But you're not just gonna be able to stand in front of Naoya Inoue just looking to land 1 or 2 shots. You're gonna have to put some stuff together. But like I said, Casemiro, he's there for it. You know, I think he wants to. He would engage and go down in a blaze of glory. But I just don't know if he has enough tools to really to move with Naoya Inoue and to adjust, to make adjustments. You know, and really box. You might be a hell of a puncher. You might be a rough guy. You might have some dog in you, but damn, I mean, Naoya, like I said, man, he's nasty. I'm not really gonna go through too many through any of my notes and whatnot, but just like I said, the speed, the ground that he covers, the way that he manages distance constantly, working up and down, the jab is his accuracy with his punching is ridiculous. It's just not a lot of weaknesses in that kid's game. He's disciplined. He's a professional. I like to see Moloney again. Yeah, Moloney, like I said, Moloney fought a hell of a fight. He would have beat a lot of dudes. I know, I think an interesting move for Moloney, you know, Chicago's Joshua Greer Jr. was supposed to be one of the early candidates to fight Naoya Inoue before he got beat by the Mike Plania cat. I think Greer Jr. and Moloney would be a good way for Moloney to come back. I'm not trying to say that Josh Greer Jr. is a great test or would destroy. Yeah, exactly. Can he move up? Yeah, Inoue runs the division. Matter of fact, it'll be interesting to see how long he even stays at bantamweight. I don't know. Yeah, I think he should go up to 122 quickly. But, and I don't have my champions in front of me. It just, you know, it's a good night for him. I think it's a good introduction for him with Top Rank. It's kind of messed up because I know they brought him over here to have 2 fights a year, I believe, out in Vegas, try to bring, you know, big-time Japanese businessmen over here. I would love that fight, Greer versus Moloney. Yeah, that's one. I think Moloney and him would be a good fight. I think Greer's would be a good test, and it'd be a good fight. You know, either guy could win, but Moloney, like I said, you can't knock the kid for his performance tonight. I thought he boxed really well with Naoya Inoue early on. I thought he took his power pretty well. He just couldn't. It was just nothing. It was no area of the game where he could do better than Inoue, you know. Inoue was sharper than him. He was quicker than him. He was more, had more power than him. Number 1 pound for pound. I don't know if I could go with that, but he's going to start making his case, especially if he can go up to 122. I wouldn't mind seeing him in MJ, the cat that beat Danny Roman. I think that'll be an excellent fight. Yeah, I think that'll be an excellent fight. Just popped into my mind at 122. I think that would be an excellent matchup. But yeah, man, the kid just has the goods. I was very impressed. To make a dude look that, I mean, and it was crazy because Moloney, I was just saying to myself at the start of the 6th round, I was just saying, that Moloney didn't look deterred. He didn't look resigned. He didn't lose much of his confidence, and he's facing a guy that's kicking his ass and landing a lot of heavy shots, but opening the 6th round, he was still very much looking to fight, very engaged and still in the fight. His corner's talking him up. And that was after that was a hell of a right hand when Naoya Inoue did that little quick, went to go and turn away from that shot and followed up with the right hand. But he didn't drop him with it, but it really affected Moloney. But even after that punch, in the final minute of the 6th round, like I said, of the 5th round, he comes out at the top of the 6th. He's standing in the corner looking pretty good. But he comes out and who out here? Moloney was game and trying to win, but Monster too much. I definitely agree. Like they said on the telecast, to throw a double jab like he did and get caught with that check hook. You know how they say in football, it's only 2 or 3 quarterbacks that could throw that pass, a certain pass. That check hook that he landed, in the way that he landed it, with the force that he landed it, I agree. It's only a couple of dudes that we know in boxing that could have landed that check hook and got that knockdown right there, in my opinion. And like I said, man, he sees the game beautifully. He's creative. Just a joy to watch. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him next, because they got to kind of be creative too, to put a good body in front of him. I wouldn't have minded. I mean, like my man just said, 2 weight classes up. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't have minded Naoya Inoue and Navarrete. I know he's up at featherweight now, but they got a lot of good things to do with this kid moving forward. I thought it was good to see that his eye held up well. He had the eye situation and the broken nose. It was good to see that his face, held up pretty good. I think it's good to get this match in and him look as good as he did, and then we'll see what he can do. We'll see what he can do next, who they match him up with. But damn, that was a hell of a night. I just liked his patience, man. He attacked him well. Just a real, just an artist out there, man. I was super impressed with the kid. I just wish a crowd could have been there, man. And that's another thing. When you bring him back, it'll be interesting to see if fans are back. I personally believe now Gervonta is a WB unless he plans to vacate. Who will he fight? Personally, man, I really wasn't gonna say too much about the Gervonta situation. I didn't buy the fight tonight. That's kind of what I saw happening. I think that's what they wanted to happen for him. But you got to start, if you want to keep billing Gervonta as the one, the chosen one, whatever it is, and you want to say that he's the pound for pound, whatever, and that the rest of his career is going to be on pay-per-view, I'm with all of that. And I love Gervonta's game. And I love his offense and his power and so on and so forth. But hopefully this experience tonight shows him what Showtime and what Mayweather envisioned for him, and he wants to be a professional boxer. Yeah, I couldn't pay for that tonight, man. Not with the DAZN action and then the ESPN Plus card, and then Santa Cruz just not being a big threat, in my opinion. I just couldn't fork over $75 for that. Back to my man question, Latrell Cooper. I think I really think they got to consider. I think they got to consider trying to figure out a way to get him with Lopez if they can make it happen. I know Floyd Mayweather was on First Take with Stephen A. and Max Kellerman, and he alluded to Floyd mentioned something about, individuals are greedy, saying that Top Rank is greedy. And I mentioned this earlier on the video. So we got two things right now. I don't know what the pay-per-view buys are tonight. We know that he sold like 10,000 or 14,000 seats in Baltimore and Atlanta. Tickets. Okay. You had a pay-per-view. I doubt this pay-per-view is really going to be all that successful. On the other hand, Top Rank is going to say, we just had a kid that at 23 became undisputed lightweight champion of the world, or unified plus champion of the world if you factor in Devin Haney. But we got him. We did what we did with him. He beat a guy who was considered top 2, top 3 pound for pound. We have him. And the table and make it, and somebody's gonna have to make a concession. I'm guessing more than Charlo doubleheader, which I bought, should have been on Fox. I don't know if this, Dale, I don't know if this one outdid that, because the Charlo doubleheader, at least on paper, had way more, it had more stuff I wanted to see. I didn't really want to see, maybe. And that's what's killing me with Devin Haney, because I'm hearing a lot of that, and a lot of people feel that way, but they got to find a way to get him an opponent so that he can really show it. I mean, he looks great, good height, good skill set, checks all the boxes, but they got to figure out a way to get him together. I mean, to get him an opponent. But yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just excited because there's a lot of good young fighters, a lot of good. Back to that whole situation. Both of those guys, well, Tank now is what? Tank is 25 or 26? Yeah, Haney versus Gamboa, get that out the way. I mean, but when you offer dudes money and they don't want to take the money because they don't want the zone's profile to increase, I don't really know what you do. I heard some talk about whether or not what the situation is with Haney passed eye test with flying colors. Yeah, he did. And if he looks great against Gamboa, it is what it is. But it's funny because Haney went in the ring against he went in the ring and face-to-face with Ryan Garcia. There was no movement on that. Obviously, it's a little too early to have that fight. But between Lopez and Haney, and Lopez and Tank Davis, we could really use those fights. The game could really use those fights. Whoever you like out of those three, whoever you like organization-wise out of those three, I don't really have a dog in the fight. But as a boxing fan, if they could figure out a way to make those fights happen in the next 18 months, the next 22 months or whatever, the game would be really great. I mean, and those, in my opinion, those are fights that you want to pay. Those are fights that we don't mind going in our pocketbook for and paying. But to match some of these guys up against fighters that we're really not all that interested in seeing, and ask us to pay $75, it's just not right to me. Those will be epic. Yeah, I mean, in the hell, even if you factor Garcia in there while two of those guys fight, and Garcia comes in and fights the third guy, if Garcia can get past Luke Campbell on what is that, December 5th. So yeah, man, I think boxing has, some of these guys got to get on the phone, answer email, talk in person, but it seems cherry picking opponents is happening again. Both 38 years coming off a loss. Yeah, that's a tough one. The only saving grace there is the fact that we're in this pandemic. And things were messed up with the zone. We're trying to figure out what the hell they were going to do once they had to put the schedule together. Once they had to put the schedule together after the Canelo stuff. So I mean, we can give Haney somewhat of a pass. I would have much rather have seen him fight Fortuna, although I think he's better than Fortuna. But Fortuna's a little younger, a little scrappier, I think. It was painful listening to Bill Haney even try to sell us Gamboa, and trying to talk Gamboa up as some kind of threat. After I saw the Castellanos guy knockout, after I saw the Castellanos kid knock out Gamboa, I really didn't have any more interest in Gamboa's career, to be honest. I mean, Castellanos was a guy with like 8 losses or something, and he just completely wiped the floor with dude. So, but anyway, hey, look, man, I thank y'all for rocking with me for a minute. Thanks for everybody that did hit the like button before they got out of here. I didn't really have a whole lot to say, man. I just was very impressed with Naoya Inoue tonight. I think he over-delivered. Honestly, with Moloney losing to Emmanuel Rodriguez, I thought it was going to be a much shorter night for Moloney. But he accounted himself well, man. And I think that even speaks more in the favor of Inoue that Moloney fought that well and was a deserving opponent. And he still took care of him in the manner that he did. And also, I think it was good that he went some rounds. A first round knockout, a second round knockout, that wouldn't have been that great for us. Haney will steamroll Gamboa, get it out of the way, and move on to bigger and better. Definitely. I would even think that that's tough, because I think Bob might have a little something against Haney because he didn't sign with him or something, based on the comment that was made that he signed with the wrong guy. That kind of leads me to believe that Bob might have tried to sign Haney at some point in time, and he was a little he just scoffed at the fact that you signed with this British cat over him. But I didn't think it was a bad idea for him to go to the zone. But I was a little short-sighted thinking that they could all work this out and fight one another, but that's just not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious, he's been out, he came along, everybody knew who he was, and Bob is out in Vegas, and Top Rank has a hell of a scouting department. So I'm pretty sure, some conversations, they tried to have some conversations. And that was like the pettiness of Arum and Top Rank. But I want to say there's a possibility that Bob and Eddie Hearn could at least have some conversations. I think they would have conversations. I don't know if they get it worked out for it to happen, but I think with Bill and Eddie, maybe that conversations could be had, and there would be more of a credible path to a fight than what we see with Crawford and Errol Spence. Like they would earnestly negotiate and maybe see a timeline to where that fight could happen. But obviously right now, Top Rank, they got a hell of a horse right now with Lopez, and can go in a ton of different directions. Kambosos Jr. challenge for title lightweight in the coming years. Yeah, I saw him earlier tonight. I was finishing an article. I put an article, if you want to check me out, over at www.bitedownboxing.com. I was finishing up writing the Savannah Marshall and Hannah Rankin fight. And just thinking about Savannah Marshall and Claressa Shields should happen really soon. I think, I don't know if y'all rock with women's boxing. I thought Savannah Marshall looked pretty damn good, man. And she had some real style to her. We complain about some of the European men, being a little robotic or stiff or whatnot. But Marshall moved well. She put her punches together well. She had a little bit of dog in her. She's long as hell. I mean, she has a nice mix of skills and physical qualities that yeah, Dale, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm becoming a huge women's boxing fan. Yeah, I am. You know, that's just, I guess I just like boxing. Look, but like I said, man, I'm getting ready to jump on out of here. Thanks for everybody that rock with me. Check me out in the future. Check me out over on bitedownboxing.com. I'm just working over there now and here. I'm not really doing anything on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter anymore. Just here and www.bitedownboxing.com. I thought I thought Mayer looked pretty good tonight. I think Mayer is just like a classic boxer. I think Al Mitchell stays on her. I think she's humble enough and defers to him and respects the way that he handles her. And I think for some reason she's trying to please the older guy, the old man. And then I think Kei Karama is there in the mix, and she respects him a lot too. And I think she's a good fighter. She's long, but I think she's really disciplined. You know, not power that's out of this world, but I think she smart. I mean, she fights smart. I think she's really solid, and I think Brodnicka kind of let us down tonight with not being willing to engage and really mix it up and really to compete. All the holding and just dancing around outside. All right, Dale, man, good to hear from you, bro. I might check you out tomorrow on Ringside Reporter. But yeah, let me get on out of here, man. My wife is upstairs. I'm gonna check out the end of Saturday Night Live. Everybody, thanks for checking in. Appreciate all the likes. Bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Peace. Thanks, fellas.